So this is Travail, which is my entry to Indiecade. In it you play as an artist who's working on a comic book. It's basically about the pains and difficulty of artistic expression and creation. Travail means a very difficult and arduous task. And you can see here the main menu is basically supposed to be the players or the artists who are the same, one and the same, house. So he's working on this comic, he's got some work out here, he's got some paintbrushes, etc. So to play, you just click on the comic, and then it jumps into the first stage. If you saw, there was kind of page flipping there, which the idea is that you're starting work on this comic book and you're progressively going further and further into the book. So you can see red scribbling throughout the pages in this actual story as you go. That's basically supposed to be the author kind of writing his thoughts as he creates this comic book. And what you're doing is you have this pencil and you're drawing in paths and various other things in different levels in order to create the comic with the proper story. And the proper story, of course, is where he doesn't die. So if I draw him that way and he drowns in the lava, then you can actually flip backwards in the book like this, as far as you want at any time, and then you go back and you're at the proper place. So this is essentially time reversal like in Braid or anything else, and you can go all the way back to the beginning of the level. But the general idea is that you are constantly doing drafts of this book, and it's really difficult and it's a challenge for the artist to get right, and so as you mess up, you're just flipping backwards and redoing pages. And in later levels in the actual story, you're doing the same level again, but it's been edited. So the writer says, "Oh, I don't like this section of it or whatever," and he decides that, or she decides, whoever it is, it's not specified, that in a later draft, maybe if it were this thing, this level here that gets redone, oh, there's not enough shooters, or I don't like the idea of the player being able to use, or the character being able to interact with walls at all, so instead he's only allowed to use paths and maybe jumps or other different things. So there's a lot of ways to sort of revisit these levels in terms of having them completely different but familiar because they're edited in the later drafts of it, and then also by forcing the player to use different mechanics, you can really change the way the difficulty is. Right now, by the way, I'm using the second mechanic in the game, which is walls, which obviously is to block traps and whatever you want. You can also use it like this to, that might be a wall, to control the character by basically making a wall in its way and run away from it. So this level introduces a third mechanic, which is a jump. So it's like a pressure plate that he walks onto and then it launches him upwards. So he use that to do whatever, to get beyond gaps, or even to jump over traps that you might otherwise use walls to climb. But the whole control of the game is indirect control, so you are painting into the level in order to change what this character would do in the story, is the idea. So that's why if you just leave him to his own devices, he just kind of runs, and eventually he'll kill himself. There's that. Same deal, you just flip back in the book until you're happy with where you were, which is kind of part of the challenge, actually. We used to have smooth, just exact reversing without page flipping, and I thought it was kind of too easy and easily abused, because this isn't so much a puzzle game like Braid, it's more of an action game, so we wanted to have it be limited in some way, and the page flipping, aside from working great as the metaphor, also limits you because you can only do it so often and so precisely. I'm taking all the hard paths here. So this demo that I've sent to Indiecade is 5 levels. I won't play the other 2, but the You can play through all 5, should be fine. Normally you can only go to each level when you've beaten one before. And you can see this percentage completed thing here. If you collect all of the money, which is coins and diamonds and stuff, in each level, then you can get 100% if that's what you're really going for. So I hope you guys love the demo, and if you have any questions, please email me. Thanks very much.